Hey guys, Dobby back at you. Another story for you. Here we go. The rifle felt heavier than usual that evening. Not because of the cold, or extra mags, or the fact that I'd packed enough gear for 3 days instead of one. It was heavier because I already knew something was wrong before I even left the truck. I'd hunted this stretch of national forest since I was 14. Same ridges, same saddles, same chokecherry thickets where the big mule deer bucks like to bed. Nothing ever felt off until that Thursday in late October when the wind stopped completely. 1 second there was the usual low hiss moving through the pines. The next second, silence so thick it pressed against my eardrums. I froze mid-step on the game trail. Even the chickadees shut up. Nothing moved, not a needle, not a bird wing, nothing. I told myself it was just a weird pocket of still air. Happens sometimes. I kept moving uphill toward the little bench where I'd seen fresh tracks 2 days earlier, big, wide, dragging a little like the buck was favoring his left front. When I reached the bench, the tracks were still there, but they weren't alone anymore. There was a second set, walking exactly parallel to the buck's prints. Same size boot, same vibram pattern, except the stride was wrong, too long, too even. Like someone was deliberately matching the deer step for step without even quite touching the same ground. The boot prints never once crossed or overlapped the hoof prints, they just shadowed them perfectly. I felt the hair on my forearms stand up under 3 layers. I knelt, touched the edges of one print, still soft, maybe 90 minutes old. Whoever made them had been here after I checked the day before. I glassed the ridge above me for 20 seconds. Nothing. No movement, no color, no glint. Just timber and rock and that unnatural quiet. Then the wind came back all at once, like someone flipped a switch. The trees roared. I exhaled hard, feeling stupid for being so keyed up. That's when I heard it. Not a twig snap, not a rock rolling, a low, wet cough. Not human, not animal. Somewhere exactly in between. It came from maybe 40 yards behind me and slightly down slope, the direction I just walked. I turned slowly, nothing. But the tracks I'd just come up were still there, and now there was a third set walking down the middle of my boot prints. Same size, same stride, same boot. Fresh enough that the pine needles were still setting back into the edges. My heart was slamming so hard I could feel it in my teeth. I backed up the trail maybe 30 yards, keeping the rifle at low ready, sweeping the timber. That's when I saw the buck. He was bedded less than 100 yards ahead, exactly where I thought he'd be, heads up, ears pinned back, staring straight past me, not at me, through me, toward whatever had coughed. I eased into a sitting position behind a downed log, found him in the scope. 8 times his eye looked like the size of a quarter, wide, white-ringed, terrified. Then his ears flicked forward. The cough came again, closer this time, maybe 20 yards behind me now. I didn't turn. I had kept the crosshair on the buck because I suddenly understood something very clearly. Whatever was back there wasn't hunting me. It was hunting him, and it was using me to push him. I lowered the rifle an inch. The buck was trembling. I could see the shivers rolling down its neck. I whispered, barely audible, "Go." His head snapped forward toward me for half a second. Then he exploded out of the bed, crashing straight uphill, antlers raking branches, hooves tearing dirt. The moment he broke, the thing behind me moved, not walking, loping. Long, loose, unhurried strides that ate ground without seeming to try. I never saw it. There's just the sounds of something big brushing through brush that should have been too thick for anything human-sized to move that fast. I sat there until full dark, back against the log, safety off, finger indexed along the trigger guard. Nothing ever came closer. When I finally stood up, my legs were shaking so badly I almost fell. I followed my own tracks back down. The parallel prints were gone. The shattering prints were gone. Only my boots and the buck's panicked escape remained. But near the truck, maybe 30 yards from the tailgate, I found one last thing pressed neatly into the soft dirt of the road. A single handprint, palm down, fingers spread. No boot prints leading to it, no boot prints leaving it. Just the hand, and in the center of the palm, very faintly, like someone had used a stick to scratch it while the dirt was still soft, a tiny, perfect spiral. I drove out with the windows up and the heater on full blast in October and still couldn't get warm. I haven't been back to that bench since. Sometimes at night I still hear that wet cough behind my left ear, even though I'm inside with the doors locked. And sometimes, just for a second, I smell choke berries, even in February. Okay, guys. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Remember to like, subscribe, share, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever floats your boat. I'll see you in the next one.